are also two legend competitors with that, with GanZtrax running the Rek'Sai and also Fiora being piloted by none other than SouledOut. So let's go ahead and check that out real quick and see what gameplay might be in store for us. But Rek'Sai can be a very aggressive deck, something to move in with a lot of units that hit hard. So it's going to be interesting to see if Fiora is going to be able to withstand the might that Rek'Sai can provide.
Yeah, and Fiora being more of a mighty, bigger units rather than a lot of units. A little interesting to see the relationship between a go wide and a go tall deck.
Yeah, exactly. And then for those of you guys who actually don't know, Rek'Sai's ability as a legend is when you conquer, you may exhaust me to remove the top 2 cards of your main deck, and you may play one, then recycle the rest. Then on the flip side for Fiora, when one of your units becomes mighty, you may exhaust me to channel 1 rune exhausted. So 2 really powerful legend abilities.
And Rek'Sai off to a pretty great start, getting 2 seals off the top. And starting with a conquer.
No kidding there. And yeah, again, and we even have another, gear being out on the board. So 3 gears right off the bat. And we're going to see there is a lot of power cost that is seen in Rek'Sai. So starting with 2 seals, is that going to pay off that little bit of a sacrifice in the first round or in the first, round or two? But, the rest of the game, hey, you might be looking good.
Right. And as a note with Rek'Sai, it is play, but not play for free. So you still have to pay for that Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is going to be fun. But here's the thing with Fiora is that she can hit and she can hit hard. Now, the difficult thing is that you might not necessarily see a whole lot of units out on the board. And so if you're maybe able to take care of those units initially, it might be a little bit difficult. But I mean, the bread and butter is the equipment that you can add to your units. And we're seeing that being utilized here as the battlefield is immediately taken back and we go up 1-1. But this equipment is going to be a very big help with that.
Yep, putting it onto the Lucian, getting a conquer, and then buffing the Lucian off the Warmogs. And activating the Fiora ability, gives them some more room, get that ramp.
And then even an Unsung Hero. Now, of course, Unsung Hero is a little bit of a difficult card to try to get the effect off, because what that's going to specifically do is that when it dies, if it was mighty, you draw 2. So one of the big things that you're going to be using with that to get it to be mighty is going to be a giant sword that can then add 3 to make it at a 5. So interesting to see, but looks like a pullback with the Lucian and can keep on swinging.
Now, this is going to be a real big turn for Rek'Sai. Not only are they untapping with 5 runes, they also have those 2 red seals. So a lot can be played here and not going to be losing a lot of runes to recycle costs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and that's something that's really surprising, too, because even after all of this, sacrificing to be able to get out the 2 seals in this case, and it's still a 5-5 on the rune count. So really not too far behind for Rek'Sai in sacrificing that early turn, but still, now we get to see what units can you now get out on the board to be able to make these statements.
Yep, and the Phoenix going in to conquer there, getting hit with a hidden blade. Or they're going to hit their own. Nope, they're going to hit that one.
Yep, so again, that's going to be 2 cards going over to GanZtrax there. SouledOut is going to be able to, maintain the hold potentially. 5 runes still at the ready, so you are going to be able to potentially still play. But this is also kind of the combo with Rek'Sai where you do want to conquer first, then be able to activate your legend ability and play a card off of that. And so, a little bit of a dynamic, a little bit of a different idea there than what we see in most decks. But again, something to maybe extend your hand size that much more.
Right. And with the Phoenix having the ability to come back, if Rek'Sai does just that and kills a unit with a spell, that Phoenix can now be played from the trash.
So we'll see if that is going to be utilized, because yeah, both seals are tapped, but it looks like we are gonna. Yep, looks like we are going to
double targeted the Lucian.
Yeah, and I mean, that's scary too because Lucian is such a powerful card because when you go ahead and conquer, you can ready him up, which means he can
Mm-hmm.
either go back to another battlefield if he has ganking in some way, which is easy to do with this color combo, or moving back to base. And in this case, looks like opting, to move back to base, but it wasn't enough with Falling Star.
Never is. And having
So,
those 2 seals to just be able to play a falling star for 2
mhm.
really shows how strong seals are.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, because of how power hungry Spirit Forged has been. We've seen almost a little bit of a step back from a lot of removal spells, especially something like Falling Star, unless you're able to, of course, mitigate that cost. And Kaisa is really one of the only spell slinging removal decks that we've seen lately. Otherwise, it's a lot of purple movements. And so to see a Falling Star still be utilized in a Rek'Sai could be a big difference maker here as we now see Fiora enter the battlefield and going mighty.
Yep, Fiora going mighty from the Warmogs, tapping their legend ability, ramping. The big deck. But now, we'll see what Rek'Sai's response is.
And we got 2 runes, though, at the ready. So still going to be able to discard and draw one. A great one to discard. And then able to look at the top 2 to decide to play one. And the other, of course, will be recycled here. So great options. A chance to maybe get a second Falling Star out with the seals even
Yeah.
at the ready.
Yeah, a third Phoenix I don't really think serves you well, but a Falling Star to deal with 1 unit certainly does.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, especially if you already have a Phoenix in the discard and you have the chance to play a Falling Star, you could get another 3 might unit out with Assault 2, and you're seeing it just pay dividends at this point with what you are able to utilize here. And I mean, if you're able to play a potential 5 might unit just for a recycled, not bad.
Not bad at all. We'll see if there's any responses from the Fiora player. Doesn't seem like it.
Because, I mean, we do have the signature spell from Fiora, which is going to be able to choose a friendly unit and a spell, and you can counter that spell and give that unit plus might equal to the spell's energy cost. And so that could potentially be something that maybe SouledOut was trying to scare with a little bit with the 2 runes up, but still being able to play a Falling Star. This is going to be scary as the board state gets ever deeper here for GanZtrax.
Also, with Fiora being mighty and now having deflect, I don't think he wanted to pay an additional 2 rune or 2 power.
No, not at all.
For that. But immediately tapping 4 is the Fiora on their turn. Ooh, Trinity Force.
Yeah, that is going to be scary. Now, for those of you who don't know, Trinity Force is such a powerful card that when you hold, I score 1 point. And yes, you do have to pay for, you do have to recycle to be able to equip it. But I mean, heck, if you are able to hold, that can send you to the victory lap and be able to win a game. And it is such a scary gear.
And as we see, Fiora already catching up back to hold points. Now, every time when they hold, so we'll see what the Kaisa's answer is. Or not Kaisa, Rek'Sai.
Yeah, and
Different
so
queen.
yeah, exactly. And in this case, though, the signature spell is going to be coming out in this case, and that is going to be a Void Rush. You reveal the top 2 cards of your main deck, and you may play one of them, reducing its cost by 2, and then draw any you did not play this way. So, such a powerful ability. One of the best signature spells. Love this one, and we're able to see what he then will be able to select.
Looks like he's choosing Hidden Blade. Or is, yeah. Thought for a second it might have been Fiora's card, since they're both in yellow, but...
Yeah, and sometimes that color combo can be a little bit confusing, but still, yeah, if it is ending up being a Hidden Blade, I mean, that could be an expensive cost, because, of course, yes, you still need to pay the power cost, but still... and even with the deflect, but it looks like we are going to be playing for recycling too to be able to defy that. Now, of course, that is going to be adding 2 might over to the Fiora, which is now going to be at 10.
Recycling. Yep. Gonna pretty much clear their runes, but getting rid of their only unit on board, bringing back a Phoenix, and conquering.
Yep, and I mean, already just some great comboing there, but I mean, sacrificing that many runes, is that going to be enough to really, say, I think I have enough control of the game that I am going to be able to win with going up to only 4 runes potentially, and then 6 runes likewise, but here comes another Fiora. And this is sometimes the scary part with Fiora, is that we don't necessarily see a whole lot of card draw, so what you necessarily top deck is maybe all that you're going to see, and Fiora is now only going to be able to wait back in base as the Rek'Sai goes up to 6 and now 7 points respectively.
Yeah, next round, Fiora's going to need to clear both, keep them from holding both every turn from now on. But it's a big unit and mobility. It is possible.
Oh,
not entirely sure what mobility yellow and orange has.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't necessarily need a whole lot there, as the Call of the Week is going to be revealed, and just like that, the Fiora, though not targeted, so you don't have to pay the deflect cost there, will then immediately get sacked, and Rek'Sai is going to be taking game number 1 of this round 2. Again, I gotta say that removal that you are able to utilize, Falling Stars on one side, and then also just the immediate kill spells that yellow is able to utilize there, it can be very interesting on trying to play around, especially when you are not very unit dependent. You're not able to go wide with like what you see in Victor, and so it's like, if you kill my one, that might be it and really slow me down.
Right, and I'm curious to see. That looked really scary because Rek'Sai saw a lot of early seals. I'm wondering if how this deck performs without seeing those early seals.
And also, with the battlefields being out, we have Sigil of the Storm, which is going to be interesting, meaning that when you go ahead and conquer, you recycle one of your runes, and then likewise on the other side, Candlelit Sanctum, which you are able to go ahead and look at the top 2 cards of your main deck, and you may recycle one of them. And that can go hand in hand with the Rek'Sai Legend ability, so you get a little bit of a peek to see, hey, do I actually want these cards to maybe be found with my Legend? No? Okay, cool, they go right to the bottom.
Yep, and as any TCG player will tell you, knowledge of your top deck is paramount to any good strategy. Especially when you can play them.
No, definitely true there. And so right there, we have the Rek'Sai Champion Zone being played, and also the Fiora likewise. And so going to be developing the board a little bit, immediately opting to go into the Candlelit Sanctum. Interesting that you chose to go ahead and play out the bird first before going in for the Conquer. So now we're going to be able to look, but I mean, 2 cards that you maybe don't want to necessarily see early game, going now to the bottom of the deck with the Rek'Sai Legend.
And just following it up with the Noxus Hopeful. Now, this is the position that Fiora wants to be in. Untapped Fiora, 6 runes up, with their opponent only having 1.
And I mean, immediately the champion is going to fall there. And I love the ability of the champion, because you can give accelerate to those that you play from anywhere other than your hand. Now, of course, you still have to pay that acceleration cost, but that can really bring a lot of aggression. So getting that Rek'Sai out of the game early, I mean, that can be something to really shift the momentum, and Fiora can start taking control of this game.
Yes, in fact. Now, if Rek'Sai wants to score points, that's not on the Candlelit. They have to recycle one of their runes from conquering.
Oof. And so it looks like is going to be opting into floating 1. So on Conquer, you at least still can use the rune, but still, that is a heavy cost.
It is. And they hit a salvage. Looking to get rid of that Warmogs.
So not necessarily like maybe the best hit that you would want, but still being able to at least take out an equipment and then also being able to draw a card can make a big difference there. 6 cards in hand for Rek'Sai. What are they potentially trying to do here? Maybe develop the board a little bit more, but a Call of the Week is going to be coming out instead.
Yep, and they're more than happy to get rid of their bird so they can channel Rune Exhausted. Following up with another hopeful.
And so here we go with the point for hold. It is going to be a 2-2 now in this game 2 of round 2. So with that, this is going to be a big turn for Fiora. Unfortunately, the Lucian was ending up being sacrificed there. And so, I mean, still, luckily SouledOut still has a good amount of cards in hand, maybe able to rebuild the board a little bit. But I mean, you love the Weapon Master of Lucian to be able to automatically equip a gear potentially, but still there is a lot to be used here as another gear is able to be utilized and equipped to the Fiora, and 7 runes left at the ready.
Get rid of 1 Warmogs, another Warmogs takes his place.
And so with that, an immediate pass. So interesting. I'm going to be curious to see, leaving up all 7 runes, what you might be able to anticipate an answer with here, because that makes a little bit of a statement. Like either I really have a lot of scary answers, or I just might not have a whole lot to play. So I guess time will tell on what that might be, as Rek'Sai will go ahead and activate the legend ability on Conquer with another Call of the Week being found off the top. Yep, and just like that, a counter that is going to be utilized there.
That Fiora signature spell really coming in handy.
Yeah, I will argue that is probably the best signature spell in this set. The fact that you can even just counter a card, especially in the yellow and orange combo, is a very unique color combination ability for that. And then not only that, then being able to add the might of that cost. So, and there's no limit to what you can counter. So it's any cost of a spell you can counter.
Yeah, I think the only other signature spell that might give it a run for its money is Aurelia's, but I think I might be agreeing with you with this being the best one. So,
I mean, I can only imagine, stopping a time warp essentially and adding 10. Or something, or at 9 in that case, something outrageous of might to a unit. So we'll see though. Again,
that is an insane card with an unsung hero coming down for the Fiora. And seeing what the Rek'Sai has to offer.
Yeah, and this is the hard part. It feels like Rek'Sai's been struggling a little bit in the beginning.
It does feel like Rek'Sai... I don't know what their hands are looking like, but it feels like they're holding back a lot more than they did in the first game.
And that's the thing. We were able to see just how fast it was able to move here. We at least are able to maybe see a Seal of Rage that is potentially able to be played. Now, of course, there is no actual cost, other than recycling the runes, so that might help out a lot. And then immediately being able to play a Falling Star, but still 5 runes at the ready. And it looks like there is going to be a cost here as an Unyielding Spirit is going to be saying nope to all spell damage for the rest of the turn.
Yeah, that's one way to shut that Falling Star down.
Well, again, that's a lot of cost there. And instead just saying, hey, by the way, here's another Call of the Week.
Call of the Week.
And And with that, a pass. So another point scored, going up 5-4 currently. Fiora at least is able to continue to hold a little bit of momentum. The ganking becoming ever more important, going up to 6. Now being able to activate Candlelit Sanctum to look at 2, deciding where you're going to keep these stacked on the deck or in the bottom. And, you have 7 runes and 4 cards in hand. And I mean, I really think that peek into the future there with the Candlelit Sanctum can make a huge difference there. And then Strike down coming in to deal some devastating damage.
Yep, almost assuredly cinching this one for the Fiora, but we'll see if Rek'Sai has an answer now that they have a seal.
I mean, and it's like at that point, what kind of answer do you need? I mean, there is only 1 unit out onto the board, but a seal's going to play a seal. That's maybe not a card that you want in your hand this late in the game, especially when you're down by 2 points.
Coming in with a Falling Star.
And a Call to Glory in response to add 3 might, so it's going to still have 1 left. So if you're able to somehow deal 1 damage on top of that, and nope, that's going to be a scoop and go into game number 3. The card knowledge is just at that much higher of a level here.
Oh, definitely. This is always my favorite time of any TCG season is, all right, what are we playing now that there's more cards added to the pool? And this has not disappointed. Every time I think, oh, this card's bad, or this legend's bad, or champion, I see it played and I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, it is such a treat to be able to be here at the start of a brand new TCG. And with such high caliber players in this tournament, this is going to be exciting as we go into game number 3.
Arena's Greatest coming out from Rek'Sai and Monastery of Hirana from the Fiora.
Yeah, so I mean, able to go ahead and spend a buff to be able to draw a card here. So looks like both are just opting to automatically score their point with Arena's Greatest and, agreeing to that, because if you do happen to miss that trigger, you're missing out on the point. And so by opting in saying, hey, let's just both score it now, you're at least missing out on that opportunity, luckily.
Yes, in fact, and starting us out with the bird. Fiora starting us out with not deciding what runes they want to tap.
Yeah, and sometimes, it's fun. I sometimes just like to tap a rune and untap,
I am very notorious for flicking my cards in person, so I cannot blame them.
So we'll see what's able to happen, but Elucian is going to be coming out. Now, there is going to be no ability activated at that point because there is no gear, but at least he is going to be able to attack this next turn, at least unless we see maybe a Coal of the Week coming out. Oh my gosh, and there it is, though. That has been a card that has affected this meta so much so here in this match. This is insane.
Yes, and I mean it's just so much value, especially when you don't really mind if your creature with Death Knell gets killed. The Spiritforged meta is so interesting to me because we're seeing not too many go wide decks. We're seeing a lot of 9-ish unit decks, and these yellow kill spells I think are going to be really meta defining.
Yeah, and this is interesting too. A trusty Ramhound that is being played here from SouledOut. Now, of course, that is going to be able to add +1 might if there is someone else with it, whether that's in base or in battlefield. And so something to, kind of keep in mind. But still, here we go with Arena's Greatest. You are able to then go ahead and just play things out incredibly fast. And looks like, again, going to be able to play an Honest Broker with the Rek'Sai Legend ability, and then still have 4 runes after that to play whatever cards are left in your hand.
And we're going to see the Phoenix come back. An interesting 2-drop from Fiora. I wonder if that's a sideboard tech to just get more units out in the face of the yellow kill spell deck.
Yeah, definitely. And so this is going to be a big turn, though, for Fiora. Needs to start making a little bit more of an impact here. And I mean, hey, going ahead and using a Trinity Force is going to be a step in that right direction. Potentially now able to move in and take out 2 units while also being able to possibly hold and get 2 points when this, equipment is able to be activated.
Yeah, dog with Trinity Force seems to be pretty good right now. But they now have a gold token, which, as we've seen in the past, this Rek'Sai deck is very power hungry.
Yeah, and so, I mean, still within Assault, you are able to go ahead and attack him for 5, but there is a salvage, a much more important salvage at this point, but is there going to be a counter spell coming out from the Fiora?
Yeah, you almost kind of wanted to keep that Trinity Force, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Yep,
looks like...
and there's the reposit.
Yep.
A repost.
Yep, and then that's going to be also adding 2 might to the Hound in this case, going up to 6. That's going to be causing him to move over to the other battlefield to conquer, and maybe is going to be hoping for either a Hidden Blade or a Call of the Week. I mean, heck, any kill spell at this point. Oh my gosh, and another salvage found from
Yeah,
the
but
legend.
do they want that salvage or do they want the seal? Nope, they want the salvage.
I mean, gosh, that 2 points is going to be a big difference maker. So if you can stop that, I mean, 4-2 feels a lot better than 4-3. And so still, though, there we go,
Just
killing the
gonna
unit.
take care of the dog right now.
Oh, man. Dang. And so just finding all the answers. And you're seeing how powerful yellow can be in this meta. The kill spells that just say, I don't care how much might there is. I don't care what you're able to necessarily do. Unless you're able to counter these, I'm just going to keep swinging at you and killing your units.
Yeah, and, with yellow just having kill the unit on it, doesn't have to, one of the things that I've found Kaisa struggling with is if something's 7 or more power, hard to kill it. Not with yellow, though.
Yeah. And I mean, it's why we've also even seen Victor even take a little bit step forward in this meta, and it's just because yellow is able to do so much. And here we go, playing a Fiora out, and the speed here might not necessarily be felt as much as a Vengeance is again coming out, but immediately countered and adding 4. Now, of course, that won't necessarily impact a whole lot, but still, if there was something like a Falling Star, well, now the Fiora could, potentially survive that.
Yes, and also, as of note, they have used all of their yellow runes on the Rek'Sai side.
Gosh. And then the cool part about this is that the Fiora did actually end up becoming mighty on the opponent's turn, so you were able to then activate the legend ability and channel a rune Exhausted. So again, getting that little bit more ramp that you need there to be able to get things moving. And so this is going to be a big turn. A statement needs to be made. There is a 4-point deficit. So what can we now do to, increase this a little bit, get closer to coming back into this game? But I gotta say, Fiora does, do a lot better with fewer cards in hand than what maybe Rek'Sai could.
Yeah, and the Pit Rookie giving Fiora a buff to get Mighty, to channel Rune, to then Conquer, to then spend the buff to draw a card. Really solid line of play.
Yeah, and then also, if you are able to somehow get it to become mighty again, then you have ganking to be able to utilize on the next turn, and you can keep hopping back and forth here. But this is the first point that Fiora has scored this go-around, because the only other point was from Arena's Greatest. And so, again, we need to start making this impact here on getting things going. And so we got to see what might be happening here. And I think it might be also that Fiora might have missed a point because of the Hound.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as well.
Mm-hmm. And so it really should be a little bit closer than what we initially see on the board, at least.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed about Riftbound is there's always so many things going on with every action.
Oh
it's
my
very
God.
easy to miss something.
It is so easy. That's the hardest part. And this is going to be interesting here, though, because You know, when you are playing these decks and you're running games with your Fiora into the meta stuff, you're playing against Dravens, you're playing against Aurelias, you might not have played a whole lot against Rek'Sai here. And so this might be a little bit of a matchup that you're not necessarily anticipating here. And with Piercing Light coming in, another removal spell, this is something that could be really, again, devastating that board state and keeping Fiora that much back on the momentum swing.
Yeah, any card that lets you 2-for-1 is always instant include in most decks, and this taking out two cost or 2 might units will help swing, but they still have to deal with this Fiora with only 1 order rune left.
Yeah, and you gotta be seeing this. I mean, going in now, potentially trying to score a point, and again, you're gonna be able to look at the top 2 with the Legend ability. What am I gonna find? There's a Vengeance.
Oh.
Can't pay the cost though, because it is 2 needing to recycle of the order runes, and he only has 1.
Yeah, and the Salvage not having a target right now. But the Call of the Week comes back.
Yeah, but again, does that signature spell from Fiora have the response? No, not in that case. So the Fiora will go into the trash, double conquer there, and you are going to be able to say, okay, Fiora, what are you able to do? I am at 7 points. Can you take out my Phoenix?
And it looks like they can't. The Rek'Sai Call of the Week being the MVP in this match and winning that round.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, we're able to see just how much Call of the Week was able to make that impact, but more importantly, how much the legend ability of Rek'Sai was able to impact the game there, because you were able to see, hey, I found my Hidden Blade. Hey, I found my Gear Destruction. Hey, I found my Call of the Week off the top of the deck. And so it's extending your hand by so much and giving you even just the ability to get cards at the bottom of the deck there too.